Suns and their um recent streaks of losts. I see what he means by this. Hey, what up, guys? No Kyle, unfortunately, for tonight, and I don't blame him, especially after tonight's game. Okay, so let's get on schedule, shall we? All right. What up, Suns fans? Just one day and literally a game later, the Suns break their one game winning streak, if you could call it that, and they're back in the losing column against the Toronto Raptors. The 18, the sorry, 17 before this game, 17 and 39 Toronto Raptors. Uh they lose to them. Final score: Toronto Raptors 127, Phoenix Suns 109. We'll talk about this game all in just a second more.
Kevin Durant delivers. Gorgeous move for Bradley Beal.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
Devin Booker with the clutch three.
I'm disappointed. Uh I am not going to count this as a meltdown. This game could be whatever you want it to be, Suns fans. If this is a meltdown game for you, sure. But I feel like it doesn't really bring anything new to the table. We already knew this team wasn't going anywhere in the end, so I don't think it's just I don't think it's a meltdown. But I think instead of disappointed, I'm more shell shocked. I brought up the KD quote to start the show. There's beauty in the struggle, and that's kind of how I feel tonight. Um, it's just more the same, classic Suns. Am I right? Am I right? Only 7 made threes from the Phoenix Suns tonight on 28 attempts. That is a 25% uh, shooting rate from the 3 point line. The Suns tried to dominate the rebound game, although they still fell behind that. There is a 12 rebound gap between them and the Raptors. The Raptors had 49, the Suns had 37. Uh, we started out pretty bad on turnovers, but they cleaned up on that during the second half, which is cool. Um, the Suns ended up with 12 turnovers, but the Raptors, we did end up forcing them 14, although we only scored 13 off of those 14 turnovers, and they scored 20 on our 12 turnovers. The Raptors are just a very I would compliment the Raptors here and say that they're a really aggressive team. But what team isn't in the NBA right now? Every game has turned out to be a struggle for the Phoenix Suns along it's just every game of the schedule. It's always this constant quote. If you've been watching the Arizona Family broadcast, which I've been listening to most of the nights, you'll probably hear them say over and over again, the Suns just got to keep it close. They're only down 10, just get it back to 10 before halftime. Just keep it close. It's always a struggle every night. And we're at that point in the season where we're watching a sinking ship. It's depressing. That first half definitely left me pretty mad. I am upset with this team, and I don't think anyone else disagrees with me on that. It's just really poor effort this Phoenix Suns team is showing, and I'm having a tough time reiterating this over and over again. By halftime, they were down in basically every way. The refs really made this game unwatchable. I don't like to comment that much about refs because it's such like a controversial topic, you could say sometimes. But tonight they gave the Toronto Raptors 30 attempts from the free throw line and the Suns only 22. Um, which I actually have the stats with me here, and I believe if I take a look see, um, Actually, I don't know how to read this. Oh wait, yep. The Toronto Raptors are the 30th ranked team, or number one in most fouls per game, at 21.6 on the season average of fouls. And tonight they only fouled 23 times. Um, what it's there was definitely a little bit of questionable calls from the refs tonight, and but that wasn't far from the concerns. Sure, questionable refs are one thing, but the Suns, they also just play terribly. Like they always do. Rebounds are always an issue. The Toronto Raptors are a good rebounding team. They got some length. I mean, what team doesn't have length at this point? It only feels like the Suns don't have length, and also the Golden State Warriors, I guess. But they got Jimmy Butler now, and the Suns were struggling on rebounds, three pointers, which surprisingly, here's the most ironic thing. I pulled up the stats for one main reason tonight, and we'll get to it in just a bit. But I pulled up the stats for one main reason because I got curious. The Suns, actually, we'll start with the Raptors. So the Raptors, for on the season, this is their season 3-pointer shooting percentage. On the season, their 3-point shooting average is hold on, I lost it for a second. 35%. That's on the season. Okay. And that puts them at 20th in the league. 35%. The Suns are 5th in the league at 3-point shooting. That is really surprising. We don't act like it because that average, by the way, is 37.4%. So we're shooting 34%, 37.4% on threes for the whole season. And that's 5th in the whole league. Not bad, but we certainly don't act like it tonight, especially with the fact that the Suns only get like 30 attempts up this whole game. It's just it was the same thing with the Chicago Bulls last night as well. It's just us not getting up enough attempts. Like, funny enough, they brought this stat up during the broadcast tonight. How Grayson Allen, the last time we faced Toronto Raptors last season in Phoenix, sorry, Grayson Allen had 7 threes in the first quarter. Legendary Grayson Allen game. And that he had basically more threes that game than this modern day Phoenix Suns team. That is really bad. This I mean, I told you guys the stats. It's this team is just not good anymore. It's such a regression that they let this 20th in the league in shooting threes allowed to get 20 made threes. Because now let's start to talk about it. That fourth quarter is simply crazy. That stuff only happens in sports. And honestly, I'm not too mad about being a part in history. It's the only history the Suns are going to be making this kind of season. Just being a part of whatever I'd say blizzard of threes that final quarter was. All right. Credit to the Suns. They were making a push, and I'll bring up some positive notes to leave this game with in just a bit. But the Suns were making a bit of a comeback. They were playing great. They had a few stretches where they were playing amazing defense, and they were scoring every time they went down the court. All right. They're bringing this game back in the fourth quarter. Just need to not let it blow it up. All right. That's all you need to do. And then the Toronto Raptors scored 8 straight threes on us, ballooning a 2-point lead that they had to, I don't even know. I guess 13. I don't even know how bad it got there, but They tripled their lead in just like a few seconds. I've never seen anything like this, and I can't say anything else but just be kind of amazed by this. Um, I feel definitely a part of the strategy was to see if Toronto could keep shooting this high a number of threes because they were hot during the start of this game and mostly throughout the most of this game. So it was definitely a challenging of like, can you keep this up? And they did. They proved us wrong and they won and they scored 8 plus threes in the fourth quarter. That was their highest scoring quarter of the whole game. Almost a 40-point corner. It was 39 points, just a point shy, but it might as well have been quite a nail in the coffin. They didn't drive home the final nail in the coffin. They cemented the coffin. That's what they freaking did in that final quarter. I've never been a part of anything like that, and I can't no, I'm just shell shocked. Honestly, I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. What are you gonna do when your team just starts pulling off miracles like that? Honestly, the Phoenix Suns are a bit of a miracle maker, apparently. As for other teams, they make a lot of prayers for other teams come true. If you're a other team other than the Phoenix Suns, if you're one of the 29 other teams and you're a little down on your luck, but you got a Phoenix Suns game coming up, then you're gonna have a good game. It's just that at this point. And the Suns just need to get out with whatever they can. They split this little back to back against Toronto and Chicago, and the Suns have still not well, actually, I almost said not won a game yet, but they just won a game yesterday. My bad. So we're currently 1-2 after All Star break. The Suns are now 27-30 on the season. That still puts them in the 11th seed. Uh, Although I have not refreshed, I haven't been keeping up with any other kind of stuff going on in the league, but the Suns still in the 11th seed with tonight's game loss against Toronto. The schedule starts to pick up again. Uh, this was a little bit of I. If you watched the last episode, you heard me and Kyle talk about how tough the Suns schedule is going to get. So right now, it's currently a little bit of a break, but it's now starting to go pick up. So next Suns game that will be February 25th on Tuesday, and there'll be a game against the Memphis Grizzlies, the final game of this 5-game road trip that kind of spanned that bridged All-Star break with now. So that's another tough game. And then there's New Orleans twice. That's a back to back, the 27th and 28th, Thursday and Friday. And those will be the last games of February until we head into March. And March is a really tough month for the Phoenix Suns. That is, I'm looking at the schedule now. It's too much to mention and list right now, but if you haven't looked at it, go look at it and just, it's, that's that's quite a list. We only have like one game against easy teams, and that's like Chicago and the Raptors again. I can't see many other games that the Suns would be favorites of for the rest of the year, and that is crazy to say. So we're in for the long haul, boys. But I guess I'll leave tonight with some positive efforts, some positive words. Um, I do like the fact that at least for 6 minutes we got to see some Ryan Dunn minutes. That's pretty nice. Although it wasn't the best minutes, but I guess that's what happens when you don't play a rookie for like like 5 weeks. How long has he been out of rotation? I don't know. But he's been very iced out of his game. Uh, so at least he got some minutes. He's warming up to it. Bol should have definitely got some more minutes. 6 minutes, and he put up like close to the most leading score on the bench. Like he was pretty productive. I don't know why we didn't see more of him. Well, we could have definitely used more of him. Other than Grayson Allen, Bobo had 5 points. Grayson Allen had 9. It's just this team's not good. The production we're seeing on this bench is so lackluster. Um, but I would say tonight's saving grace was Bradley Beal. Um, he's been putting together some amazing games as of late, and I hope to see that continue. Even before All Star break and even before the injury, he was playing really great. And I'm really starting to wonder if like Bradley Beal is a late season performer. You know, I think we saw something like this last year with Bradley Beal like starting to turn up the intensity with his play style during come closer to playoff time. So we're definitely seeing a resurgence in that. He had 30 points tonight, and from the Suns Twitter is a season high number of points for this season. I really like Bradley Beal, especially during this era of the Phoenix Suns season. Say what you want about the injuries or the contract, but right now he's giving us a reason to watch the Phoenix Suns. I like his attitude. He always treats the game with a level of professionalism and sportsmanship that you gotta respect. It doesn't matter what team he is. You always see him out there shaking hands, patting guys on the back, even if he gets fouled by them. Checking if guys are okay, helping some guys up, lifting them off the court. You'll see it every now and then. Um, Bradley Bill, just really professional on the court, and he's playing like he really wants to help this Suns team. You know, he could just take the money and like not care about the Phoenix Suns, but nope, he's still coming to work, even on back to backs, and even if he is a injury liability, he still plays hard and he is going out there and becoming a fire starter for the Phoenix Suns, especially these last 2 games. He was the fire starter for the Chicago game yesterday, and he was definitely on one today. He was probably the most efficient guy out there, putting up 12 made field attempts, we'll call it, out of 15 attempts. So only missed 3 attempts from the field today. Also missed 2 free throws. He was 5 of 7 from the free throw line, 4 points, 1 assists, and just 3 fouls. So and 30 points. So not a bad night for Bradley Beal. Devin Booker had a little bit a less efficient night, but at least you could say that he put in effort in that second half. He had 11 points the first half. He was having a pretty shaky first half, but that second half he definitely turned things around and was becoming a reason the Suns were getting back into it. And he did end up leading tonight's scoring. He is tonight's game scorer leader with 31, just barely beating Beal. And that's just because of his tenacity and his hustle. Uh, so a great night for the shooting guard duo, and along he did Book also did that with 8 assists. So great night. I will not talk about KD. Um, should I talk about KD? I feel like I can't go without mentioning KD here. 15 points, 40 minutes, 5 of 15. I don't know what happened to KD. This is not his usual production game. This game probably would have been closer in the fourth. Definitely closer in the fourth. What am I saying? If KD just had his normal average production, which would be around 20 points. Although he did not get that. I don't know what's happening with KD, whether it's tiredness. It is a back to back after all. And, Chicago did play pretty intense last night. So he could just be tiredness, but hopefully he will come back from it. This is just a bad loss, and even if KD still had half of the, or if he just even had his average night of scoring, we'd still lose this game because that Toronto fourth quarter performance was just insane. That's just Suns defense for you, and that's the Suns game for you. All right, that's all I have to say. We will be seeing you guys Tuesday, February 25th, when the Suns take on the Memphis Grizzlies. We will see you then, and enjoy the rest of your day. All right.